What up, folks? Once again, it's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. We're going to be talking about Kyle Rittenhouse once again as the jury deliberations enters its second day. And the question is Kyle Rittenhouse a hero? Do you believe his deeds were heroic? That's what we're going to be talking about, because I've seen that and I've talked about that with a lot of individuals in the comments. I've seen it all over, particularly right-wing news and those who have a favorable attitude towards what Kyle Rittenhouse sought to accomplish or tried to do, or whatever the case may be. But before we get into that, let's take into consideration this is day 2 of the jury deliberations. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I want to say most of us, but certainly most of those who had a view where this was a clear-cut case of self-defense viewed this more of it's cut and dried case. Look at the video. He had to, he's facing great bodily harm. Here's Rosenbaum trying to grab his firearm. Here's the second guy. What is the second guy's name? Anthony Huber. This individual is, they're drop kicking him in the head or throwing swinging skateboards at him. He had to defend himself against this guy. And then, of course, he shot Gage in the arm, and Gage was holding a firearm. So you got 3 individuals that are all, if you believe what you're seeing and believe what you heard, they were all trying to either kill or bring great bodily harm to Kyle Rittenhouse, and he had to defend himself. So why are we going into the second day of jury deliberations? Now, I've made it clear in every one of my videos in regards to this subject that I believe that Kyle Rittenhouse will walk. And I even stated that if I was a betting man, I'd hand out 2-to-1 odds in favor of Kyle Rittenhouse being acquitted. But I have to say, the fact that this is going into day 2 does make me wonder. I mean, clearly everyone on that jury is not as cut and dried as a lot of my right-wing commentators that I talk to in the comments, because I don't think any of the right-wingers that follow this page would have entered day 2 in deliberations. This shit would have been over with 10 a.m. The jury came back today at 9 a.m. And I would assume by 10 or 11, they would have been telling the judge, we've come to a conclusion. This went on all day. Not only did it go on all day, they asked that the judge reissue his instructions for what the jury was supposed to do and how they're supposed to view the case and come to their conclusion. 36 pages, they asked him to resend that to them. So clearly somebody, at the very least, at least one person on that jury is asking questions and thinking some things over. And this is happening even with the judge removing or tossing out the smaller charges that were facing Kyle Rittenhouse. Everybody kind of thought that he'd probably get off on the self-defense, the murders, and the attempted murders, but, carrying a weapon by a minor and open carrying in Wisconsin and all of that shit. People thought that those charges would probably be more cut and dry, because he was 17 and he was carrying a weapon, and everyone believed that you had to be 18 to have that weapon. Well, the judge presented a technicality based on when I say technicality, I mean, this shit came down to, well, the barrel is a certain length. You can carry a rifle in the streets at age 17 if the barrel is a certain length. That's insane in my opinion, but that is law. That is law. So they did toss out the lower charges, and now he's just dealing with mostly the 2 murders of Huber and Rosenbaum and the attempted murder of Gage. I'm going to say Grosskreutz. I can't pronounce that last German name, but that's what he's dealing with. So we'll see. But I do have to wonder why they're going into day 2. If they don't come back with a verdict tomorrow, and this goes into day 3, it's going to start making some folks concerned as to whether we kind of thought this one was in the bag already, and it might not be. So we'll see. Now, to the question of whether this was heroic or not, there's a whole lot of right-wingers who think that Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I totally understand the claims of what he was trying to do. And that is, he was trying to defend his dad's neighborhood, or whatever you want to say. He was trying to defend the property in that neighborhood and protect his community, as some in my comments have worded it. Okay, well, here's a question on that. You cannot defend property with a firearm. And what I mean by that is, okay, let's say Kyle Rittenhouse is standing on a lot, the dealership where all of the cars are bust out. He's standing on that lot with his AR-15. And a couple riders come up with bricks and start busting the windows out of all of the cars and throwing Molotov cocktails in the cars. He can't shoot anybody. He can't protect that property with that firearm. He can't do that. He cannot do that legally. So how did he think he was going to protect the property? At best, his only option was to stand there with the gun and hope it intimidates people. And based on what has happened, if you take his word as the gospel truth, he had to kill 3 different people because none of them were hesitant to approach him with his weapon. So clearly, whatever he thought he was going to do or succeed at doing obviously was wrong. If you can't scare 3 unarmed people, or at least 2 unarmed people, let's take the guy with the pistol out of it, but if you can't stop 2 unarmed people from charging you with an AR-15, what would make you think that you're going to deter them from doing property damage? So whether you think he was a hero or not, the mission is a failure. I mean, like I said, let's take his word. Let's take Kyle Rittenhouse's word as absolute truth. Okay, what happened? First, he went out there and he had to deal with Rosenbaum as Rosenbaum tried to snatch his weapon away from him, and we expected Rosenbaum was going to kill him and maybe kill others. So he killed Rosenbaum. He leaves the scene of Rosenbaum, and then what happens? Well, then he encounters Anthony Huber. You know, he's being drop kicked in the head. He's being hit with a skateboard. He's facing great bodily harm, so he ends up shooting and killing Anthony Huber. Next, he's being approached by Gage Grosskreutz or whatever. And that guy has a pistol in his hand, and he's aiming a pistol at him. And he ends up having to shoot Gage. It shoots his fucking bicep off. Kyle Rittenhouse then gets up, leaves the scene, leaves the state, and turns himself in later. Okay, what property was protected? Essentially, he came to the scene, ended up having to defend his own life 3 times over and left. He didn't defend anybody's property. There was nothing that came out of that. And now what happens after he does, he defends his own life 3 times over? Now he's having to defend his life in a court of law in the state of Wisconsin as they attempt to charge him with multiple counts of murder and attempted homicide. So I would ask anyone that thinks that what Kyle Rittenhouse did was heroic, is it really worth the risk? Would you go out there and risk all of this shit that Kyle Rittenhouse claims he went through and is still going through in court to defend some property that's not even yours? I bet the individuals who own the fucking property would not send their children to do what Kyle Rittenhouse did. Let's just be real about it. I mean, when you think about the amount of risk and sacrifice that Kyle Rittenhouse ultimately did absorb, taking his word as the gospel truth, taking the word of Kyle Rittenhouse, everything he said, if everything he said is true, he went through a hell of a lot to defend someone else's property, and now he's in court fighting for his life. Does anybody out there think that that is worth it, what he went through? Would anybody out there do that and absorb those risks and make those sacrifices for somebody else's property that's not yours? I'm not talking a family member, not talking about your husband or your wife or your aunt or your cousin. I'm talking about somebody you don't even fucking know. Somebody you don't even patronize, because Kyle Rittenhouse was not in the business that he supposedly went to protect. It wasn't like he was going there every day patronizing that business and purchasing cars from the man or something and got to know him personally. He went to defend a business that the only contact he had, according to him, is that he drives past it every day. That's it. Risked his life 3 times over and is risking his life in court to defend a business that he simply drives past every day. Who the fuck would do something like that and think that that is a smart thing to do? Just being honest with you, just being real with you. And like I said earlier, you can't even use your weapon to defend the property. So somebody could walk right up to that property while you're standing in front of it, start busting out windows or pull out a can of spray paint and start tagging it. And all you can literally do is yell at them. You can't shoot them for that. So what kind of protection are you hoping to provide? Does anybody other than me see what he did is just, I don't get it. To me, it's stupid. It's ill thought out, heroic or not. It's just jumping up and, going at something on a wing or ringing a prayer. But let me know what you think. I think it was dumb as fuck, but maybe you got some kind of other idea about it. Anyway, I'm asking you to do what I always ask you to do. Show your boy some love. If you're following the page, hit that subscription button so you are notified when I'm dropping this. Hit the like if you felt what I had to say. Hit the dislike if not. I get dislikes all the time. Let me know in the comments. I do respond to all comments. And yeah, there's been a lot of comments coming in lately on this case. But anyway, it's your boy, the handsome liberal. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Like I said, if they end up deliberating for another 24 hours and this is not solved tomorrow, if they don't come back with a not guilty verdict, your boy might be in a little bit of trouble. Holla at you in the next video.